I started this job when I was 22, and I am not 22 anymore. The journey that I've been on with Daenerys, it's sharpened me as an actor, and because of the heights that she goes to, it's forced me to find them within myself. And so anytime anything good or bad happens, you put it into her. So Daenerys is a tapestry of my entire adult life. Within each major scene of Daenerys is every major scene of my life. Yeah, I remember my first day on set. Oh my God, I fell off a fucking horse. Jesus, this is my first job. This is like the first thing I ever did, and they stuck me on a horse. Oh, in a bamboo field in Belfast, and it's raining. I was falling off the horse trying to act still. A Khaleesi.
Okay,
and I remember just hanging on for dear, I mean, literally, I'm like hanging on like this, and I'm hanging on for dear life, and I just remember shouting, "Please stop filming!" And I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be fine. Turn around, and I'm like, oh my God, there's like the whole crew, and I just cried. So that was my first day on Game of Thrones. That was it. That was, hey Mom, I had a really good day. I had more spine-tingly, goosebump, joyful, punch the air, yay days on this show than anything in my life. It's the thing about Dany. Every season she gets better. Every season there's something else bigger than the last season and better than the last season. Go Agades! Season 3, Getting the Unsullied, was the first time that I, Emilia, got to be, you know, like, bitch and badass.
Nigei Daenerys Gelmasmo and Targaryen Lentra. Dracarys.
It was really cool. It rubs off on you as an actor, you feel it. I have had to stand up and be Daenerys. In all of these moments, I've had to stand on that rock and speak to a lot of people in a crazy language.
Hasheri Vajira Hashi Sandali. Hasheri Manhan. Ano Gaga. Fuck.
Fucked up all of my Dothraki.
It's been a challenge, but you just have to grow a pair and do it. Leaving this show is leaving a part of me. The people are just, can I take Peter? Can I take Natalie? Can I take them all? How can I rule 7 kingdoms if I can't control Slaver's Bay? Why should anyone follow me?
You're a Targaryen. You're the mother of dragons.
There's an ease that I get with acting with Ian Glenn because he's been my pal the whole time. There's been my buddy.
Shambles, Charlotte, shambles.
Ian is an incredible actor, and he is an incredible mentor. He's just helped me as a person on a really real level. I'm gonna start to cry, this is ridiculous. This is always a safe space. We can have fun, and we can take the piss out of each other, and we can support each other, and we can laugh at each other's jokes, or we can laugh at each other's bad moods, or it's a family, it's an absolute family. There's no ego, we're in it together, and I'm never gonna get that again. This show, Game of Thrones, has set me free. It's literally given me my freedom. As a human being, and as an actor, and as a woman, I've been able to play this incredibly strong woman when I could have very easily never thought of the places that I had to go to with her, the strength that I had to find to play her, and then seeing that I had that strength myself. And that's a really big deal. And these guys have taken care of me so much, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm really lucky I get to have it documented. And I'll just be forever grateful to everyone who makes Game of Thrones for giving me something really special.
I've grown up just as Bran has. From, you know, the world of acting to being an adult, it's become such a huge part of who I am. It'll be sad not to be coming back and getting to be Bran. I'd never had any experience of acting before. We went to this beautiful forest in Northern Ireland, but it was perhaps the rainiest day I'd ever experienced in my life. I was there with my mum. We sort of finished the day. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. It's just rain and stress.
You want to hold it?
But thankfully, it cleared up the next day, and I was like, actually, this is the best. I'm really enjoying this. I always ended up in a very small unit of people, and luckily they were some of the best people I could have hoped for. More than anything, the friends I've made on this show I will have for life. Ellie, who played Mira.
Lovely.
Christian Nairn, who played Hodor, is one of my best friends. But, you know, I really, really enjoy working with John Bradley.
You saw this in a vision.
So it was fun getting to do that scene with him back again in season 7, because we have a good laugh.
Hodor?
The Hodor moment, I couldn't quite believe. That was such a sort of, oh my God!
Hold the door!
Seeing the fact that his entire role of existence was for someone who basically screwed him over.
Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold door! Hold door!
Cut, Chris. Great. All right, tighter.
I think Bran is one of the few characters you can say everything was predestined for him. I don't think there's really much advice you could give him that won't change his destiny.
You finally show me something I care about, and then you drag me away.
It is beautiful beneath the sea. But if you stay too long, you'll drown.
I wasn't drowning. I was home.
Game of Thrones has been such an education for me in everything. It's taught me so much about life more than anything else. I know it sounds lame. You know, having to be around adults from the age of 10 and work on a professional set and, you know, get up and learn your lines and really think about a character has also taught me a lot about myself.
I'm Isaac Hempstead-Wright and I play Bran Stark.
And how would you describe Bran?
Well, he lives quite an easy life to start with. He loves climbing, he's the son of a lord, and it all sort of goes downwards from there. He has a climbing accident while he's climbing up a tall tower and loses the use of his legs. His dream was to become a knight, and it sort of like crushes his dreams, so he can't do it anymore.
The fact that this is really a full stop is sad, because I think everyone's been so invested in this story that we never want to see this come to a close. But it must, and it will be good.
I think I am going to have a hard time saying goodbye to Sam. I feel that I'm kind of abandoning him, and I'm abandoning that story. And I'd like to live a couple more years with him. And that's what's so great about the show. You can play a character for seasons, for 5, 6 seasons sometimes, but then eventually they'll put you into a situation which you've not been put into before as that character. And it's really putting that character under the microscope and seeing how they'd survive in this new environment. And I'd like to put Sam in a couple more new environments just to see how he manages. My favourite scene to shoot was probably the Fist of the First Men scene in Iceland, because you realise what a privilege it is to do this job, because you're in an amazingly beautiful landscape that looks like it's never been touched by the modern world, and you're seeing something that nobody gets to see. Tourists don't get to see that. But not only are you seeing it, but you're seeing it with a group of your friends doing work that you're very, very thrilled to do and that you're very proud of.
Must be dragon glass.
The landscape, the work, the people, but to have them all fall into place on one day was very, very special.
D-Mark.
Tell them your name.
Samuel Tarley.
My first day on set was weird.
I've come to take the black.
I went to a very theatrically based drama school. They didn't do a lot of camera training at all. We did 3 hours of camera training in 3 years. But then my 4th hour in front of a camera was day 1 on Game of Thrones. That whole first sequence was the bit where I've just arrived at Castle Black and I'm training. So over the course of the first 3 days, it was about pretending to fight badly, or, you know, really fighting badly, but pretending to be even worse than I am and getting beat up. So as baptisms of fire go, that's the one, really. I've been very lucky that I've had some really wonderful people to do scenes with. But I think in terms of my favourite scene partner, it'd have to be Kit. Kit was the first person I ever had an acting relationship with because it was my first job. I think that the friendships that you form when you are a bit scared and a bit uncertain and treading unfamiliar ground, they're the ones that tend to stick because you cling on to each other for support.
Sir Alice is going to make me fight again tomorrow, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I'm not going to get any better, you know.
Well, it can't get any worse.
You know, he was the first person that I clung to for support in a very uncertain time for us both.
Sam, are you in such a hurry to lose a hand?
I didn't touch her.
No, you just want to steal her. What do you think Craster cuts off for that?
I can't steal her. She's a person, not a goat.
Game of Thrones is my entire career. I've never known what it's like to be a professional actor and not be in Game of Thrones. What I'm going to miss most is the people. It's so rare that you get to come back and work with the same people for 8 years. We've all grown so close and we all feel that we're part of the same team, pulling the same ship in the same direction. And it's going to be sad that we're all going to get split up and we're all going to get shot off to the 4 corners of the world to do other work and meet new people, and you're never going to have it again. That's going to be really difficult, but as I said, we've got a few more days and I'm going to try and enjoy every one of them.
I mean, it's been absolutely life-changing to take a character through 8 years of evolution. I mean, it's just been brilliant, you know. I'm incredibly grateful. I remember very clearly the pilot we shot in Scotland, and I was like, this could just be a pilot, you know what I mean? Another job that doesn't go anywhere, but you make the most of it. Yeah, I remember everybody clearly. I remember baby Sophie and baby Maisie and baby Isaac. And now they're, you know, out there, full grown. There's so many people I haven't had chance to work with, but Pete and Nikolai, I love working with them, and Charles Dance and Jack Gleason and Conleth. I think those were my kind of nucleus, and I loved every minute with each of them. It's gonna make me cry. As an actor, you work and work and work and you audition and you don't get parts, and you do get parts, and sometimes they're great experiences and sometimes they're really shitty. And this has been incredible. I've had such great material to work with. Every time I open a script, I was like, oh my God, I have, you know, for me personally, just to play these moments has been really extraordinary and good fun. I really enjoyed the scene with Mark Addy way back in season 1, just because it was so intense, and it was like pages and pages long, and it was really unexpected from those two characters to be that kind of intimate and honest.
Sometimes I don't know what holds it together.
Our marriage. You get a glimpse into her marriage with Robert Baratheon, and it sort of goes some way to explaining who Cersei is and why she then behaves how she does. Was it ever possible for us? Was there ever a time, ever a moment?
No.
My advice to Cersei, if you meet a man called the High Sparrow, steer fucking clear of him. Am I free to go?
After your atonement.
Do you remember Dontos, who was like the clown? I've been begging Michelle for ages. He had this amazing hat that she made that I'm still obsessed with, but I think it's gone somewhere. But I was every year I was like, can I just have it? And she's like, no. I was like, oh. But that's the one thing I would love to have, that hat. We're nearly at the end now. I mean, I've got very few days left, and I think I'm going to feel very emotional about saying goodbye to all of it. The joy of coming back and seeing everybody again. You know, everyone's become family now, and it's all very familiar in the best way. Yeah, it's going to be very strange without it. It's been 8 years, you know. I'll miss it.
I've thrown everything into Arya. Every tool I've got as an actor, I've used in Arya. It's really hard to create new people now. Every time I do it, it's just a little bit worse. Like, don't do it quite as good as Arya. Don't make them quite as strong or quite as cool as Arya. I'm 100% gonna miss that. I'm still not done with, like, mourning her. We can't talk about that, I'm gonna cry. I was quite young and I had such a big imagination. In those scenes when I was younger, I would really convince myself that I was there and it was happening, you know? That was the only really way that I knew how to act, just by really living that sort of moment. It was just a really pinnacle point in my life. It's like school to me. It's really shaped me as a person. In school, you learn equations and you learn spelling and you learn maths, physics. But then when you leave school, you go out into the big wide world and you learn about yourself and you learn about people and you learn about how you connect and communicate. I'm so confident. I've just got this confidence from the show and from playing Arya. I really feel like I just want to inject that into each and every person that I know and love, but then also any girl that admires the work that I do. I want to let everyone sort of feel that sort of confidence that I've been lucky to feel because of this show.
Who taught you that shite?
The greatest swordsman who ever lived. Syrio Forel.
I learned a lot from Rory. He doesn't come off like actory. The nature of our scenes have just been really, really great fun to work through.
You're afraid of fire. You look like a scared little girl.
It was just such a strange dynamic that we had, but it was a lot of fun. I remember just being really late, being tired, but also being like, having a good time. I was flicking pigeon pie at Sophie. That was my first day on set, yeah. They were saying, can you just like try and get it like right on her cheek? And I just remember thinking like, you want me to actually aim it? Like, can't you do, this is the movies. Can't you make it happen?
My favourite bit probably being flicking food at Zaza.
I remember thinking, oh, maybe they're gonna fire me because I can't get it right. But they didn't. I'm still here, decade later.
It was really great fun.
Honestly, the most fun I had was working with Sophie. When we did that scene when Arya's reeling Sansa and Sansa's like, what, you were off training, and we're slagging each other and like really going at each other. That day on set, I've just never laughed so much in my life. It was so much fun. It was the day with the wheelchair. I've still got that video, jeez. Me and Sophie just messing around on Bran's wheelchair. We were just going mental.
We get on really well in real life, so it's really annoying when we have to go and then sort of I'm being a bit horrible to her and she's being a bit rude.
She's just my best friend. I mean, like, who else gets to go to work with their best friend? When it's all said and done, I'll miss the dynamic of the show, because there's nothing like this show. I was very, very lucky to meet the people that I met and to work with the people that I've worked with. And I truly believe on this show that the stars just aligned and it just made magic. I think it's rare to find a group of people that work together so well and care about each other so much. It's been a really safe place for me to mess around and figure out how to be an actor. If I do nothing else, I'll be happy. I'm gonna miss this show so much. They've written this incredible season for us to wrap up Game of Thrones, but now we've got to go and actually shoot it. I'm lucky that I play Arya and no scene is ever boring. Now we've got to just finish it off, the last few little pages.
You can't be in this business without having a fundamental passion for it and like a joy of storytelling. And something like this is so rare that you get to have so many talented people come together, experience a success like this, to work with the very best in the business and get to go out on a high. It's been an incredible journey. I remember my first scene we shot from the pilot, and that was the king's arrival at Winterfell. Everyone's wearing all these huge costumes, right? And I do remember this moment, the king rides in on horseback and he has to get off his horse, and it's like a very powerful moment. But because Mark Addy, who played Robert Baratheon, his robe was enormous. I mean, there was no way you could get off the horse in an elegant way. The horse rides in, he's like, ah. And then, hold, everyone, and then they run in with like a ladder. They help him down, and they run out with the ladder, and then, carry on. Oh, here we go. I do remember that. Those were the glorious moments. The final scene of episode 1, we shot that in 3 different versions. One where I was butt naked up against the wall with this very sweet local buddy double. And then another one where I was on the ground, and a third one. I mean, it was various levels of nakedness. I think we ended on a fairly dressed version, which I think was definitely the right choice.
Things I do for love.
Get behind me. Jamie is such a great character to play and a great storyline. And there's a couple of scenes, like the bathtub scene with Brienne was a great scene to shoot.
Kingslayer, Oathbreaker, man without honor.
Gwen and Lena, that just brilliant and very, very different. And then, of course, the characters are so different, which makes it fun because it's a kind of a different version of Jamie you get to see.
This isn't a war we can win.
And the same, you know, with Dinklage and Jerome, very different versions of Jamie there. I mean, they're all great. I think the most fun scene we shot was season 7. We shot this big sequence, the loot train attack, and we shot that in Spain, just outside a town called Cáceres. It was such a beautiful location, and there was something about being outside every day and being on horseback. I love riding. It was just, you know, over the years the show has grown. You know, it's so big now. I don't think you could find anything bigger, even if you went to feature movies. It's so ridiculous. But last year and in Spain, you had the grandness, but it still felt intimate. And yeah, you do feel lucky when you get to experience those. I'm gonna miss the people, the crew, everyone involved with this. I mean, we've been very, very lucky that almost everyone has been coming back season after season, and there is this real sense that everyone involved, that this was special. It's rare that you have a show, any show, where people don't lose interest, you know, by season 4 or 5. But here it's been building and it's still building. When this thing opens in 2019, it'll have been 10 years of our lives. That's a long time.
That's Jaime Lannister, the Queen's twin brother.
I was like a little puppy when I arrived. And coming to Belfast, I learned how to walk with pride and joy. And I'm moving from this experience as a better person. I'm gonna miss it.
Let me give you some advice, bastard.
What the hell do you know about being a bastard?
All dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes.
You know, I get Tyrion yelled at me more than I get Peter yelled at me on the streets. It's always disappointing when people think I am Tyrion. When they're disappointed when they get into conversations with me, they're like, you're not as witty. This damn show has made my life as so great and ruined me in so many ways.
You're a clever man. But you're not half as clever as you think you are.
Still makes me more clever than you. When I first heard they were interested in me for a fantasy show, I went, ugh, no. Especially being my size, and I'm not really interested in portraying a fantasy of a person. I'm an actor. I like to portray real people. And sometimes in the world of fantasy, that gets lost. This was the opposite because of the relationships between these characters, because of who Tyrion is, how flesh and blood he is. It's the most realistic show that I've ever done that also happens to have dragons and dead people walking around in it.
When I was a child, my father told me the lost dragon had died a century ago. But here you are.
I think a lot of fantasy is heavy on the dragon and light on the character. We're the opposite.
Next time I have an idea like that, punch me in the face.
I really miss Charles Dance, who played my father, Tywin Lannister. We had such a great chemistry and a great friendship.
Tyrion.
Despite our on-screen relationship. The greatest thing about Tyrion, for me, the actor, is I think I got to work with everybody, which is not true for all the characters. I'm very fortunate to work with the greatest cast. Everybody is so professional and so incredibly kind and generous to their fellow actors. There's not one bad apple in the bunch. There never has been. And we're at the end now, so there never will be. And this crew is the greatest crew I've ever worked with. We're a family now. We just have real love for each other. Tyrion has become so close to who I am, and I look up to him. He just wants justice in the world. He wants to fight for people who don't have a voice.
Will I really be able to ride?
You will. Why do you want to help him?
I have a tender spot in my heart for cripples, bastards, and broken things.
He's just a really good person.
Pod. There has never lived a more loyal squire.
This final season, there's only 6 episodes, and HBO has given us more time with less episodes, which is really great because they're insanely complicated, as I'm sure you would guess. It's cinematic. We're making 10-hour movies every year. We're so privileged to be part of something like this because it's beautiful, no matter how hard the days and how long the days and how much makeup you're under or whatever it is. When you're involved in something great, something you're going to be really proud of, it's just this feeling you have. It's like being in love. It's going to be very hard to say goodbye to play Tyrion.
I had an inkling reading the first book, going, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This could really kick off." I think it was just after the first season, the fans' response. Everyone was going around the world, "Oh my God, here we go."
Take one. Hey, marker. We mark out.
I remember when we did the pilot, that was very exciting because we had a feeling it was going to be quite a big show, and I was going, God, I could cycle to work. This was fantastic. It was just over the hill. I remember being pretty nervous, meeting people like Sean Bean that I'd watched for years and getting on a horse called Fat Bob that everybody went straight ahead and Fat Bob went towards the pear tree over there. I'll remember this forever. It's been the biggest job of my life. I don't think this will ever happen. You're on a show with hundreds of people. There's been no assholes, no people, divas. There's been nothing, not even a suggestion, because they know what great thing they're in. And you feel like you're part of this family.
People coming. You can shit later, there's people coming.
Morning.
You want something?
Favourite day was the fight between the Hound and
Brienne of fucking Tarth.
We'd studied and trained for that a long time, and when it all came to fruition, that was just fantastic.
No!
I watched The Red Wedding and I didn't really read into it in the script of what happened. I think I just did my bit and went la la la, and then when it came out, I remember I watched it in the morning. I'm a big guy, big tough guy, but guess what? I burst into tears. That was an absolute shocker. I remember just watching going, no, 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 what? It was brilliant.
Too late.
Oh, I loved the time with Maisie. Maisie's brilliant, so clever, so on it.
Really good.
That whole road trip stuff that we were doing, that was just a joy.
Who would pass the bloody gate? The bloody Hound and his traveling companion, Arya Stark.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the Hound. Sometimes there's no acting required. There's a lot of Hound in me, by the way. When I got that helmet, I'm going, what? It's not very subtle, is it? And when you're riding it, it's the most ridiculous thing because the jaw moves up and down. But it's classic. I've got one at home and I'm terrified. I've appeared on a motorbike behind someone wearing that in the middle of nowhere and they nearly crashed in front of me. Right beside him. Rawr! Ah! We've been on it for 8 seasons and I'm going to miss just all my friends. I'm just thinking of when I ended up with the Brotherhood quite a lot, and we were jamming every night and stuff, and we just had such great times. Sometimes too good a time, but it's been fantastic. It's happy and sad. The script's fantastic, and everybody's storylines are all getting sewn up together. Everyone's buzzing about it. The read through, everyone was just going crazy. But there's a sadness. It's a great show coming to an end. I'm trying to enjoy it. I'm still walking around a grumpy bastard. But I'm aware it's TikTok. I'll tell you what I won't miss. Walking around with half a fucking beard 3/4 of the year. Looking like a fanny. Look at it.
I'm gonna give you a present. After I raise my armies and kill your traitor brother, I'm going to give you his head as well.
Or maybe he'll give me yours.
I've been thinking about it for a few years. This has been not only a family to me, but I've grown up with these people. I've changed so much as a person because of these people.
And the snows fall and the white winds blow. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives.
We're all kind of a part of each other now, so it's going to be really hard.
I'm Sansa Stark of Winterfell. This is my home, and you can't frighten me.
My very first day on set, I vaguely remember it. I remember being lined up at the King's arrival scene. It was like Sean Bean and Mark Addy and Lena, and I remember being so overwhelmed and terrified.
Do I have to call you Lady Stark now?
Yes.
My favorite day on set would be the day that I was reunited with Maisie. We actually shot that reunion. And it was the funniest, most difficult day of shooting ever because we couldn't keep it together.
And cut.
Sansa, come here, little dove.
I always loved working with Lena.
What are you doing? Praying. You're perfect, aren't you? Praying.
Just watching her and learning from her was the best drama lesson I could have ever hoped for.
And if the city should fall?
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
They both know that they hate each other, and there are these scenes where they're both pretending to be nice to each other because there are other people around. And it's so funny because you can see underneath they loathe each other.
The most shocking scene that I didn't see coming.
Stop him! Stop! Stop! Joffrey, please! Joffrey, stop!
From then on, I started to distrust the show as to like whether they'd kill my favorite character or not.
Now, if you want to save
You're going to die tomorrow, Lord Bolton. Sleep well.
My favorite scene to watch is the Battle of the Bastards and Jon fighting. Aesthetically, it was so beautiful and so interesting, and unlike any other battle that I'd ever watched, the way it was shot, I was just kind of blown away.
Your father has proved to be an awful traitor, dear.
What will happen to him?
That depends.
On what?
On your brother. And on you.
If I could give Sansa advice in season 1, absorb.
Permit me to share some womanly wisdom with you on this very special day.
Learn.
What's the worst reason you have for turning me against my sister?
Take nothing for granted. And know that there will be a positive outcome of every negative situation that you're in.
Stop! Stop!
No production will ever be like Game of Thrones. It's become a family. I love these people like my brothers and sisters, and everything is wrapping up. We've had our last read-through, our last big group cast dinner, and I think I'm gonna miss them the most, the crew, the cast, everyone.
I think it's just your dream coming to life, really, in front of your eyes, and it's amazing.